Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome in this Two Tokens podcast with regards to the energy work group. And more specifically, we're going to talk about phase 2 of the energy work group, one of the projects that we're running in the so-called Ameland Power of the Many project. My name is Olivier Rikke. I'll be the host of today's podcast. And besides being host, I'm also one of the board members of the Two Tokens Foundation. And I'm here together with two very good experts with regards to this project. On my left-hand side is the co-captain of the Energy Token Work Group and also the project lead of the Ameland project, Bart van Veldhoven. Bart, welcome.
Thank you very much. Welcome also. Yeah.
Before we're going to dive into the matter, can you briefly, say in 30 seconds, say something about your background?
Yeah, I have a background in digital transformations. And last years I focused that to digital transformations in energy world, because I'm convinced we need that to make accelerations, to speed up the acceleration of the energy transition. And therefore very inspired by what we can do with projects like Ameland.
Super, thank you very much. And besides Bart, we have Evershed Sutherland at the table. And Michel is the chair of the energy cooperative Ameland and also a legal expert in the energy token work group of Two Tokens. So welcome to you, Michel. Great to have you here.
Yeah. Pleasure.
And also for you, can you tell a little bit more about your background?
Yes, I'm a lawyer by training, so I've been in law for almost 30 years, and then particularly focused on the energy sector. And then within the energy sector, I started focusing on the energy transition. So I work a lot on renewable energy projects, solar, wind, energy savings projects, and then we take care of the legal aspects, of course. I'm involved in the Ameland Energy Cooperative as the vice chair of the supervisory board.
Sorry about that.
to put that straight. And I'm also participating in the working group of Two Tokens. That's how I came, to this table, I guess.
Oh, very good. All right, so we're going to talk about the Ameland's Power of the Many project. And Bart, you as project lead, can you briefly explain what is the project about?
Yeah. I like to do that. It's a challenging project because what we want to achieve, the power of the many concept is about fractionalizing assets of energy and give that the possibility to participate of the citizens, and not only to have a fractional ownership by starting fractional ownership, also being the base for sharing, production, trading, or donating the surplus of energy to other possibilities. And at Ameland, it's an island, and a very nice island in the Netherlands, part of the Waddeneilanden, Fries Waddeneiland in this case. And they have high ambition to be energy neutral as such. And our project fits exactly to that purpose, because we can accelerate the energy transition by participating citizens in the project. What we do, there's a big solar park. It's going to be constructed. That will be constructed in half a year. In the solar park, people can earn a share, take a share. They get fractional ownership of part of the solar park. That can be like a number of panels. And what we're going to do, this will be acting, this fractional ownership, as being the energy of the people as it were on their own roof. And we're going to combine that in the community thinking, that we say, okay, we have ownership of a solar panel, we produce energy, but we also can share energy. And when the other one needs the energy and I have a surplus at that moment, we could also trade energy to other parties. So make the whole concept of local energy distribution, make it live. And we're going to use there the Two Tokens concept and digitalization to make that work. So that's very interesting and also ambitious to make that work. And we have with Ameland, with 3 parties, the municipality, Wetenschap, it's the water company, and with AEC, the cooperative of Ameland. We have 3 partners who are very in favor of letting this work, and especially for the local government. In this matter, in this case, people can really participate in a solar park because they have monuments or small houses where they cannot afford it.
Okay, thank you very much for this explanation and of the background of the project. Michel, it sounds great, this project, if you just hear what Bart's saying. But what's actually the potential impact? Why are we doing it? How is it going to help people in Ameland in this regard?
Well, I think Bart already briefly referred to the ambition of the municipality of Ameland and also of the local energy cooperative, and therefore the citizens, to become energy independent, first of all, from the mainland. And that ambition to become energy independent resonates very much with the citizens of Ameland, being an island with a long history of being independent, even independent from the Netherlands. It was an independent, an independent entity, so to say. Een heerlijkheid, as we say in Dutch. So our present king is still the vrijheer of Ameland. So the people are very much striving to be independent, and the island is connected. The electricity grid is connected with a cable through the inner sea, the Waddenzee, to the mainland. And one of the objectives is to try to achieve that you use as little as possible that cable, so that going forward, if energy demand increases, you don't have these investments in order to enforce that cable. On the other hand, people want to become energy neutral, of course, so reduce their carbon footprint. And last but not least, which in particular became more urgent during the recent energy crisis in terms of high prices, the municipality told me that they were approached by citizens that were saying, okay, we already have a solar park. In 2015, the first large solar park in the Netherlands was realized on Ameland, which was at the time 5 or 6 megawatts. And people were allowed to participate with a financial participation, so to say. But people were saying, we have this solar park, we're building another one, but what benefit gives it to me as an individual citizen? Because I still have to pay very high electricity prices every day.
Because this solar park was owned by a company or the municipality. It's not by the individual inhabitants of the
Yes,
island.
I think if you look at the landscape of solar park development generally, where participation of citizens is allowed or enabled, those parks are owned by special purpose vehicles, so legal entities. Then the developers and some investors, they will be the shareholders, and then from time to time they allow citizens to participate financially, which is most of the time in the form of giving a loan, and you get some fixed interest on it, but you do not actually own the asset. And the idea here is that you enable people to own production capacity, particularly people that don't have the possibility to own production capacity because they lack space on their roof, or they don't have a roof, or they don't have sufficient place. So that's one element, and then the other element is that the price at which they can obtain that electricity that's produced with their own panels is cost plus, so it's a stable price as low as possible, and doesn't fluctuate with the energy market prices, electricity market prices.
Okay.
So and that idea resonated very much by the municipality when we presented the project, and of course.
So it chips in on the idea of independence and also the co-ownership, being truly an owner of an asset underlying. So you are truly owner of the asset in itself.
Yes, and obtaining affordable energy.
Yeah.
And there's another element, if you ask me other reason why, that's And that has more to do with the infrastructure that we use for running our electricity grid. Those costs are primarily borne by the grid operators, and they have an interest that the cost to reinforce the grids will be limited or reduced. So if you are intelligently matching supply and demand locally in a grid, and you have less exchange through the cable that I just referred to, that would mean that you can postpone investments. So we need to see whether that actually that the results can be delivered, but that's something the grid operators are very interested in.
Okay. Hey, and for the listener of this podcast, this is a new project, but we all know there were some ancestors of this project. Let me put it like that. And actually, this project already obtained some prizes / is nominated for some prizes. Can you elaborate a bit more on that, Michel?
Well, yeah, the project originated, I think, from Two Tokens working group, the energy working group. And I think it was last year we were asked to participate in a growth hackathon organized by the Ministry of Economic Affairs, amongst others. And there...
Transform Energy Hackathon. That was,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
A Transform Hackathon, and that aimed at generating innovative ideas to... promote the energy transition, if I say generally. And they had different work streams, so to say, and we were participating in the value work stream. So what value can you bring to the citizens? And there were several projects. We were one of them. And we were, there was a jury, and they said that our project was the most promising project in that category, which was a big welcome support, because in the jury you had energy supply companies, grid operators, and also energy cooperatives represented. So that was very good. And the second nomination we received is from a whole different sector, from the legal sector where I work from, where you have this annual awards given to specific categories, and they've introduced a new category this year, which is named the Best ESG Initiative. And I was approached by our marketing department, and they said, well, you're working on this Power of the Many project. Isn't that interesting to put forward as a nomination? I said, well, yes, of course, all the attention we can get is welcome. So we did that, and I presented that there in front of their jury that they have. And we were nominated. So as a matter of fact, tomorrow is the award dinner. So we hope to win this ESG prize now, but at least it's very positive and nice that we received the attention for the project.
Yeah. Oh, very great, and good to see that in more way than one, it already gains tractions. Whilst for a lot of people, they still have the idea that they're at the beginning of the project. I think one of the strongholds of this project is that it is not based on the idea of one person or one company or etc. It's a true cooperation of people working together. So really a true multidisciplinary cooperation, and you can see that from the fact that it's nominated for a legal prize. It won a hackathon where actually a working solution was presented instead of just an ideation. Yeah. So we truly have a multidisciplinary team working on it. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the partners that are involved, besides the partners you already mentioned, on trying to get this solution really working in the end?
Yes, I like that. It's a good question. And also I want to shortly refer to the prizes, the ESG prize Michel and the company are perhaps going to win. It puts some pressure already on the project, of course, to make it very successful. No, but we will take care of that. When you look to such a kind of project, it's not only technological. It's also about legal. It's about economic. It's about ethics. And in the working group Energy of Two Tokens, we combine all these elements. So we have people from the tech side involved. From IBM and token experts. We have the legal involved, like Michel. We have people involved also from behavior, looking at what's going to happen. and also, of course, the partners of 2tokens, like, for instance, DocLab, like Riddle and Code, like Sonified, and together we're trying to make the solution which works. So it also needs an open interoperability together to make this project work, and that's the charm of it. And I'm astonished by the enthusiasm and the willingness to make it a success.
Yeah, so great to see that it's a multidisciplinary take. I personally believe, but I do have a multidisciplinary background, that's the only take, because otherwise you're going to run into all problems you didn't foresee. You'll probably run into problems you haven't foreseen yet, but at least you have the team together to up the chance of success as much as possible.
Yeah, but perhaps to add one thing, because of course we can make a local independent supply and demand there, but we also need the DSOs to combine. So, as a matter of fact, in a week we are sitting together to discuss the pilot also with the DSO, so that we have the interface with the DSO also working at the end, because we need a very reliable energy grid at the whole. Yeah. So it makes it even more interesting.
All right. You already mentioned the focus for the project is primarily now on fractional ownership of the assets, and it can serve as a base for sharing and trading energy in the longer term. Yep. Speaking of deliverables, timelines, etc., can you elaborate a little bit more on that? When can we expect some results?
We have a planning, so I hope we stick to that. But at this moment, we are working on fractional ownership so that people can really take a share, get ownership, tokenize the ownership. And at the same time, we are starting phase 2 and 3. Phase 2 will be focused to that they can make use of their own production and also sharing energy within the community. And phase 2, we will be doing additional pilots in the beginning of 2024. We need also the DSO for that, so we have the combination with Alejandro in discussion with that. And our aim is to have the own production working next year, 1st of July, in the middle of the year. And we're going to implement the sharing and the tradability. After the new energy law will be enacted, we will do pilots with it already in the second half of 2024. And we can go in production, I think, after that, when the new legal act is enacted, the legal law.
All right. Sounds like an ambitious project with an ambitious planning as well, with a lot of moving targets because it's new laws and regulations coming in place, and we all have to find out how it exactly is going to work. But that's why we have people like Michel on the team as well. Yeah. But I can imagine that for the listeners, you might want to have a call to action, some question, maybe people can help, and any call to action in this regards, Michel.
I think more generally, people that want to set up these energy communities and are looking for a solution to make that work, they should follow the project and approaches to see what we can do to help them go forward. Mm-hmm. And I think the same goes for municipalities that actually are looking for ways to empower their citizens with regard to energy. So, because that would also resolve their problem in that sense.
So solution providers, municipalities, citizens who want to be involved can contact 2tokens at least.
Yes, they can indeed. Yeah.
Bart, from your perspective?
I fully agree to that, and it would be interesting because we need several projects like Ameland to make the whole concept rich and adult-wise, to put it that way. So I'm looking for more projects, and that we also have different complexity in there. It's now a solar park with a battery, which would like combine it also, for instance, with EV charging, other aspects to it. So please, when people are interested in this or becoming enthusiastic, contact us, so that we can start how this concept can fulfill their needs and possibilities.
All right, very good. So I want to thank you, Bart, and you, Michel, for joining me on this podcast. It was a high-level first introduction of the project, but I can imagine that in the coming time we will have more in-depth podcasts with regards to the project in itself, and we can probably gently release some more information of what the milestones that we have achieved in here. So, well, for you as a listener, you heard the call to action. If you want to share ideas, get involved in some sort of way, you're always free to contact the Two Tokens Foundation. And for now, Bart, Michel, thank you very much for joining me in this podcast session. And I'm really looking forward to this project and to the end results ultimately. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
That was it for today's podcast. Thank you for listening in, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming episodes. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find our contact details at www.twotokens.org.